doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It's you I want to know, and the journey that brought you to this point today. Hey, yeah.
Hello, welcome to Small Talk. I'm a late bloomer. As an example, I was in my 50s the first time I ever did any stand-up comedy. I had a partner, my niece. We called ourselves the Wise Ass Comedy Runts, spelt with a Z. We were pretty successful for the most part. We had many sellout shows, but it wasn't always like that. One time, we show up at a venue just to discover that the audience had been drinking, well, at least 3 hours before our arrival. That wasn't so good. Today's guest is a stand-up comic. I'm wondering what kind of experiences he's had. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Keller Reeves. Thanks, Keller. I'm glad you can make it to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great.
I love your first name, by the way. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's my mom was a hippie, and she just heard back in the 70s of she heard the name Helen Keller, and she goes, "That's an interesting name," and named me after that. Not because of anything cool, like she had overcome being deaf and blind and learned to speak, and none of her achievements. Just that was a cool name. That was it.
Especially then, right? Because it would have been really different. Because most people had, James or John or whatever.
Yeah, all my brothers and sisters are all named something different, and nothing you would, normally get. Oh, except for my twin brother. His name's Tyler, which was uncommon in the 70s.
Oh, you have a twin brother?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So we're fraternal twins.
All right.
He's tiny. So.
So when did you start stand-up comedy?
February 24th, 2017, actually. So, yeah.
So how old were you, if you don't mind my asking?
Yeah, no worries. I was 41, just about 41. So, and I just kind of got involved with it, and I just emailed the guy, and he said, "Yeah, here, come on, be on my show." So I just jumped into it 2 feet in. So
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
So where are some of the places you've performed?
Locally here in Chilliwack, I run a show, an open mic. I've also, that's a Triple Play pub. I also I've done things with Fraser Valley Comedy, which is where I started with Yo True. You can find him anywhere on the internet. He gives a lot of new people chances, just like me. He gave me a chance, and I luckily was able to do well, so it works out. So yeah. So
you mentioned the open mic at Triple Play. How did that come about?
Oh yeah, we go to Vancouver to do open mics a lot. So it was just a long drive. It's an hour and a half from here to get to Vancouver, hour and 15 if you're speeding, and just to go up there to do a little bit of time became a bit tedious. So there was quite a few of us. So when I started, there was about 13, 14 comedians in Chilliwack that were aspiring comedians, anyways. And there was a niche for us to put something out, so we just went to the pub and asked them if we went to a couple, and Triple Play gave us a chance, and we've been doing it there monthly ever since. So
very nice. Yeah. Have you personally seen any of the newcomers that you think really stand out?
Oh yeah. There's some people that stand out pretty good, but they usually don't stick around, whatever it is. Like, people want to give it a go, and they said, "Okay, I've done stand-up," and they get off. It's not so much of a career; they just want to be able to say, "I've done stand-up." So you see a lot of people that way. Like, there's a lot of people that quit within the first year. I'd say about 90% of people quit after their first year, so they don't want to go through it and do it and everything else. But it's fine. It's one of those things that you just see. I've made a lot of friends that no longer come out anymore to comedy, so it's you just keep in contact, and you have fun with it, and yeah. But like I tell most people that come and ask me about comedy, because that's what I did when I started. How do I get involved with this? I want to do comedy. I went up to Yo at a show and I asked him, and he said, "Look me up." And then it took 2 years to look him up. But that's for the most people. They go, "How does this go?" And people want to sit with me and ask me, and I tell them it takes a lot of perseverance and thick skin to get through it all. So and most people don't have that. So.
Now, I met you at a workshop you were giving, or were you giving it? Yes, I think so.
No, I wasn't giving it. I just was. That was at Roadhouse when John Cullen was doing the workshop through Fraser Valley Comedy.
Right.
So, but just one of those things that was before an open mic. They did a workshop and invited a bunch of people down to pay $20 and listen to a comedian tell you information about what to do and how to do things, and he gave some pretty good advice that I still remember to this day. So yeah.
Right.
Was that if you lose the women, you've lost the crowd. When you're writing jokes and you're learning, you're writing jokes, and you're just writing what's funny to you. And sometimes that's not funny to everybody else, and you just kind of get up there and you do your best, and it takes a while to learn and perfect this thing.
Right.
Like, you know, they say you actually don't become a really good comedian until you're 15 years into it. So most people start getting professional shows around 5 to 7 years,
Right.
sometimes earlier, sometimes longer. But until you become, this is what all the comedians in 20, 25 years, that's what they always say, like, you're not even get good till you're 15 years in, because there's just things, there's so much to learn, and so many different experiences and places to see, and just the environments are always different.
I wanna know all about you, your life's a story. I wanna know all about you, your life's a story.
Well, we're back, and I'm talking with Keller Reeves. Keller, I want to talk about your family. Do you have a family, first of all?
Yeah, I have a large family. I'm one of 10 kids. My mom is one of 10 kids, so it's a lot of siblings and cousins and immediate family. And myself, I have 3 kids, and 3.5, as I say. But because a 21-year-old son who just turned 21. We have my nephew, who we've raised since a young age. He's 18, almost 19, and then my next son's 13, and my youngest daughter's 11. So, like I say, I got the oldest one to carry my name on, the second one just in case something happens to the first one, and the third one to love me.
So the one that's considered the half,
Yeah.
are they okay with being considered the half?
I just say it. He just laughs, and my kids are accustomed to me just making jokes all the time. So they either laugh or they shake their head and walk away, and that's it. So yeah.
How does your wife feel about you doing stand-up?
Oh yeah, she's very supportive. Yeah, so she's been wonderful the whole way through. So the 2 years I've been doing it, and she's always been in my corner right there, so rooting me on.
That feels nice. Must feel really nice.
Feels really good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do your children, any of them, do stand-up? Well, you have ones that are two that are too young,
younger,
right?
Yeah. Well, my oldest son, that's how we kind of started together, in a small way, out here in Chilliwack, of course. He was performing. He's done a little bit longer than me, because he's been performing at Chilliwack High School in the talent shows a couple times, and going off and doing before he's 19, doing punk concerts in between, hosting those. So it's been pretty neat. Yeah, so it's kind of a good bonding thing, because as everybody knows, when you're your dad and sons don't really mesh very well.
Yeah.
So we kind of separated of just teen angst, and then me being strong-minded, and that brought us back together, hanging out and friendly and fun and everything else. So
that is really nice.
Yeah, which may be the reason why my wife is always with us too. So
right, very good. So what are your dreams for your comedy career?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't think past the last time I was on stage a lot of times. So it's like it'd be nice to quit your job, I guess, and just do comedy. I think I'm too old for that in a way. I think that not in a bad way. I just think I'm set in my ways. I'm comfortable with some of my lifestyles. So this is more than a hobby. I perform a lot, and I have a lot of fun with it, and it's actually sometimes better than your day job. So, yeah.
Now, you have all these siblings. Do any of them do stand-up comedy?
My twin brother talks about it sometimes. Again, like both of us have been in front of it. Most of my family's been up in front of things. My oldest sister, she does a lot of Toastmaster stuff. But my other sister, she hosted a lot of things. She was Miss Hawaiian Tropics, BC, back when I was younger, and she hosted a lot of Miss Hawaiian Tropic things afterwards, locally and everything. So I think most of us always been in front of a stage at some point, or in front of people. So it just seems to be the thing.
Very good. So, you mentioned a twin brother. Does your siblings live here, around here?
Yeah, we're all from Vancouver area. I've moved one of the furthest to Chilliwack. So but yeah, but twin brother, we're fraternal. He's tiny, so he's like 5'2". So it's always, everybody's always asking us. He won a lot of drinks off us being twins over the years. He'd bet people, I bet you that's my twin brother, and he'd come over and I have to show my ID and we have to compare, and the guy'd owe him a drink. Oh, him a drink, never me, but always him.
I think I've seen you perform at the Well. Could that be?
Yeah, I've been there quite a few times. Yeah, just performing for Fraser Valley Comedy and competing in their little competition they did. They were doing a monthly one. I think that's going to come back, but they're now just doing a couple proper shows there. So
right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear a comedian and it's just male or female, whatever, and it's just one swear word after another, and I'm thinking, how is that comedy? Do you feel the same way?
No, I don't. I think that everybody, like, some people's comedy isn't going to resonate with somebody else. You know, that's the thing. It's funny. Like, I've done so many different things now that, I've done a rave, which is funny to do, which is all these people on drugs as I'm performing, and they laugh at different things. Then, like last week, I was in front of quite a few older people. So it's always funny how you got this balancing act to go through. And I think there's a room for anybody that wants to do comedy. There's performance arts too that some people prefer to end up doing instead of comedy. It's but it's
all a personal preference.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's what I meant. Like, I don't enjoy when it's mostly swearing, because I don't get, to me, where's your humor. Not that I'm against swearing, because sometimes it's really funny.
Yeah.
Right? It just where it's placed, or whatever. But sometimes it's more, I feel that the person thinks that's what they have to do. Yeah,
well, a lot of people, even I made that small mistake when I started. It was, they say never to use a swear word as a punchline, but that's a common mistake a lot of times, because most of the people who want to be comedians are out at parties with their friends, and that's common language to swear in front of people. So, but coming up in front of people, it's a totally different story. It's a totally different environment to go up there and perform for people, paying to come see you. That's like, most people pay to see you, so you're up there to give them their money's worth in a way, or the best to your ability to give them their money's worth. It takes years for you to hone your craft and hone your art, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it does pay out if you're willing to stick with it.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have years to talk about this because we're out of time.
Yeah.
But it was really enjoyable. I really liked it. You have a lot of knowledge, which is really great. And,
thanks for having me.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you coming. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Peace out.